my dear student, how are you? So today we have a special chapter, that is the crop production and management for the CBSE class 8. And last 2 days and already in 3 days, last 3 days we discussed lots of information about the chapter. This chapter is a very important because this is the basic chapter of the biology. So at first all of the students are very special. Warm welcome to all of you. Sam, Cinderella, Shatanik, Oniket, Shorashish, Gaurav, Rasdeep, Anubhav, Shoham, Sudipto, Deshari, Shomujit, Wendrila, Ankon, Devarun, Samriddhi, Somoditto, Shutanu, Srijita, Devolina, Nirupama, Ishan, Krishnashish and Roshmi and Promit, Debarho, Saptorshi, Somojit, Kaushani, Devapam, and special 2 students, that is the Arushi and the Shoresh. Ankon, that is the most important chapter also for you, because this chapter is very basic chapter for the biology, and today is the day 4. In the day 4 we have discussed the 2 important topics, that is the protection from weeds, and second topic that is we discuss in our today's session, that is the harvesting. Clear? So one by one we discuss this thing, but finally we try to complete this chapter in the next day. But this is the day where we are discuss how this plant are protected. Plant are protected in a different way. You know, the fungus from bacteria, also from the weeds. So at first we discuss this thing, protection from weeds. But at first we try to understand what are the weeds. So you can observe in that field, this is our main plant, right? But this plant, this is small some plant unwantedly grow on this ultimately field. This is not desirable and this is not wanted to the farmer. So the undesirable plant, this one, that grow naturally, they grow naturally along with the crop are called the weeds. So this one are called the weeds. This is the undesirable and grow along with the main plant. But these weeds, they have lots of disadvantage, because this is a commercial production plant. So if the unwanted subplant is grow, that time this plant do not take the sufficient nutrient, so their growth is not the optimum, right? So these weeds are required to remove, and so the removal of weeds is called the weeding. But how the weeding is done by the farmer, that is we discuss in our today class. Number 1, why is the weeding is necessary? You can observe that it is the main plant, but lots of unwanted, undesirable plant grow on that particular field. But why the weeding is necessary? Why the weeds are removed from the fields? Number 1, removal of weeds is essential because weeds compete with crops for space, light, water and nutrient. These 2 plants are present in the same field, right? So these 2 plants are compete to each other for space, for light, for water and for nutrient, that is not desirable. And next one, they may interfere in harvesting and can be poisonous for animals and the human beings. This small plant which is unwantedly grow or undesirably grow on that particular field, it is maybe the poisonous and maybe the harmful for the human beings. So that is not necessary. In that particular reason, the weeds, that means this unwanted plant must be removed from that particular field. Clear? You got it? Right, Promit? Clear? Okay, Hong Kong. So how do farmers remove the weeds? Now you can observe that particular picture. The farmer remove the weeds, but how? And what is the different procedure is there to remove the weeds? Number 1, that is the tilling. Tilling before the sowing of crops, that means to uproot it and kill the weeds. Manually, and removing them by the using of kharpi to uproot them or cut them close to the ground. You can observe this thing. This is manually is done. But sometimes manually is not possible to remove all the unwanted plant. So what is the ultimately procedure? Another procedure other than the manual, that is the chemicals. But chemicals is sometimes is not useful for our environment, right? If the manual weeding is possible, so it is better for environment, right? But some chemical process also be happening in our field, that is called the weedicides. So weedicides, what is it? This is the chemicals that kill weeds but do not damage the crops. This type of chemicals are called the weedicides. Example, like the 2,4-dichlorophenoxyacetic acid. In the short form, it is written as the 2,4-D. This is a very important question for your science Olympiad exam. Also another some example also be there which is used as a weedicide, that is the naphthalene acetic acid and atrazine. This is a three important chemical substance which is generally used as a weedicides to remove the weeds. Clear? Okay, very good. So what should farmer keep in mind while using the weedicide? So farmer are generally use the chemical substance for removal the weeds, but some important points is there that is must be keep in mind in the farmer for the use of the weedicide. Number one, the best time to remove the weeds is before they produce the flower and seeds. So that is the most important time where or when the weedicides may be used. Second one, weedicides are diluted with the water and spraying the fields. Farmers should cover their nose and mouth with a piece of cloth while spraying them, because this type of chemicals generally harmful to human beings. So these 2 points is keep in mind in the farmer when they are spray the weedicides. Clear? You got it? You feel it? Very good. Now our second topic, that is the harvesting. When the production is completed, the grains or crops are produced, now is the time for the harvesting. But what is the mean by harvesting? Number one, cutting the crop after it's mature is called the harvesting. But harvesting is not a single procedure. It is a different procedure or sum of or combinedly together in the harvesting process. Number one, cereal crops usually take 3 to 4 months to mature. Like rice or wheat, they take only the 3 to 4 months to complete their life cycle. On the other hand, another different plants also the different life cycle. But in India, many festivals are associated with the harvesting, like the Pongal, Boishakhi, Holi, Diwali, Nabanno and Bihu. There is a different very important festival in India when the harvesting is generally completed. After the completed the harvesting, this type of festival are happening in that particular field and particular village. And harvesting can be done manually. You can observe this thing. This farmer, they are harvesting these crops by the manual, using like the sickle or by some machines called the harvester. But in here, sickles are used to harvest the product, right? Okay. But after harvesting, the separating of chaff from the grain can be done through the two important another two processes. One is the threshing and that is the winnowing. What is the meaning of that? Number one, this is the threshing procedure. In that threshing, what is happened there? It is the separating the chaff from the grain by the beating the crop against a stone or wooden bar. In this process, grains fall off the stalk and due to the force. This is called the threshing process. Now the second process, that is the winnowing. Winnowing is there. This is the ultimately winnowing process is happening in that particular formats. That means in here separate the husk from the seeds by blowing the air through it. And in here you can observe that in this process the husk, which is generally lighter, fills away and the seeds, which is heavier, fall down into that particular ground. This is a two important process which is related to the harvesting, that is the threshing and the winnowing. So I think this process and this class is very easy and also very interesting to all of you. And the most important, this threshing and winnowing is the most important some question. Also, we discussed the most important two topic in our today class. That is the number one. That is first we discussed protection from weeds. That time we discussed the what are the weeds and why the weeding is necessary and how the farmer remove the weeds and what should farmer keep in mind when they use the weedicides, and the harvesting process and what are the harvesting and what is the threshing and the winnowing process. So that's all for this today's session, and thank you all students, and wish you best of luck. Thank you very much. Bye, take care.